Hello friends, hi, I'm Abhinash and welcome back to my channel. In my last long video, I spoke about LTS benchmarking in detail. Today, I will share a practical example of how you should approach an LTS settlement exercise. For this example, we'll take the case of a cement company. I choose the cement industry because I started my own career in a cement company. So this topic is very close to me and gives a realistic understanding of how settlements are actually handled in manufacturing setups. Towards the end of this video, I will also discuss this sample LTS benchmarking dashboard specially tailored for cement companies. This will help you understand how data is captured, compared, and analyzed before management takes any decision on wage settlement negotiations. So let's get started and understand step by step how LTS works in a cement company. When benchmarking long-term settlements in cement companies, you're essentially evaluating the effectiveness, competitiveness, and fairness of compensation packages, especially post-wage agreement settlements with unions or workers' associations over a long horizon, typically 3 to 5 years. The following components should be considered for a robust benchmarking exercise. Point number one, industry level compensation trends. Basic wages. Compare the percentage increase offered over previous settlements and study the trend across different cement companies. DNS allowance. Analyze whether the DA structure is linked to CPI or fixed, along with the frequency of revisions. Gross salary growth. Evaluate the overall increase in employee cost to company after the settlement. Productivity linked pay. Check whether companies are introducing productivity incentives or variable pay components as part of the LTS structure. Second is settlement period and cycle. Duration of LTS. In the cement industry, long term settlements are generally signed for a period of 3 to 5 years. A longer settlement period provides stability in industrial relations, helps in manpower cost planning, and reduces frequent negotiation cycles. Retroactive benefits. Many settlements include retrospective wage revisions, where salary increases become effective from an earlier agreed date. This results in payment of arrears to employees for the intervening period, often paid in lump sum or phased manner. Benchmark against industry norms. Leading cement companies usually complete wage settlements every 3 to 4 years, depending on union agreements, business performance, productivity targets, and regional labor practices. Benchmarking peer settlement cycles helps organizations remain competitive while maintaining industrial harmony. The third point is productivity and performance matrix. Output per employee. Benchmark the productivity level in terms of cement production per employee and evaluate the expected improvement during the LTS period. Companies often link wage increases with measurable gains in efficiency, automation, and manpower optimization. Wage to output ratio. Compare the overall wage cost against total cement production to assess labor cost per ton of cement produced. This helps determine whether compensation growth is aligned with operational productivity and industry competitiveness. Incentive schemes. Review productivity linked incentive structures such as shift incentives, attendance rewards, skill performance incentives, packing plant incentives, and overtime practices. Well designed incentive schemes encourage high efficiency, discipline, safety, and production consistency. The fourth point to consider is statutory versus non statutory components. Under statutory components, consider PF, gratuity, bonus, leave, etc. While under non-statutory allowances, consider transport, housing, education, and other welfare benefits. Next point is cost impact analysis. Per employee cost increase. Assess the increase in employee cost on both an annualized basis and over the complete settlement period. Total wage bill increase post settlement. Evaluate the overall rise in the organization's wage bill after implementation of the settlement. Impact on EBITDA margins and labor cost as percentage of turnover. Measure how the revised employee cost affects EBITDA margins, operating profitability, and labor cost ratios. Point number six, inflation and CPI adjustments. Consumer Price Index projections used for DA adjustment. Long term settlements in the cement industry generally factor in CPI movements while designing the DNS allowance structure. Companies should evaluate projected inflation trends and determine whether DA revisions will be linked to CPI on a quarterly, half yearly, or annual basis. DA structure benchmarking, and revision frequency. Compare the organization's DA mechanism with peer cement companies to understand prevailing industry practices. Key benchmarking parameters include CPI linkage formula, utilization percentage, frequency of DA revision, base index adopted, and treatment during high inflation periods. Point number 7, worker categories. A proper LTS benchmarking exercise should clearly differentiate employee categories as wage structures, benefits, productivity expectations, and union coverage often vary significantly across groups. Blue collar versus white collar employees, contractual versus permanent workers, and skilled versus unskilled labor. Point number 8, comparable company data. Use benchmarking data from ACC, Ambuja, Ultratech, and Sri Cement. Industry reports from CMA, which is Cement Manufacturers Association, or CMIE, or consultancy reports from EY, Deloitte, or PwC. Number 9, legal and union engagement aspects. Union strength and affiliation. Assess the strength, recognition status, and external affiliations of trade unions operating within the organization. Understanding whether unions are affiliated with national labor federations can help anticipate negotiation approaches, bargaining power, and the overall industrial relations climate. Dispute frequency and industrial relations history. Review the company's historical industrial relations record, including frequency of disputes or work stoppages, strike or lockout history, grievance handling mechanisms, success of previous settlements, and employee discipline and absenteeism trends. A stable industrial relations environment generally supports smoother and faster LTS negotiations. Time taken to finalize LTS in peer companies. Benchmark the average duration required by comparable cement companies to conclude wage settlements. Delays in settlement finalization may result in increased area liabilities, employee dissatisfaction, higher negotiation pressure, and operational disruptions. Studying timelines followed by companies such as ACC, Ambuja, Ultratech, and Sri Cement can provide useful guidance for negotiation planning and stakeholder engagement strategies. And finally, number 10, future proofing and flexibility. Clause for renegotiation in case of significant economic change, training or reskilling investments as part of the settlement, and automation considerations impacting manpower plans. Here's a sample LTS benchmarking dashboard or table tailored for cement companies. It compares key components across peer organizations and gives a structured format you can use for internal analysis or board presentations. In the first column, we mention the components, followed by your company's details, and then the details of other cement companies. In the last column on the right, we capture the industry average. In the first row, we compare the LTS duration across all cement companies, followed by the effective from date, basic wage hike percentage, and other relevant parameters. This is how we collate, analyze, and benchmark data from different companies to arrive at a solution that works best for us. This concludes my session on LTS benchmarking and a practical example of how to approach an LTS benchmarking exercise. Please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.